Good morning, Civic Media Mornings viewers. We're going to get going in 40 seconds here.
No talking points, no focus groups. Get ready for a heavy dose of democracy, fairness, grit, and no apologies. It's current affairs from a working class labor perspective. Facts are center, science is real, and everyone gets a seat at the table. The Rick Smith Show, weeknights at 9 on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Finding support for my child with ADHD felt overwhelming.
15 seconds until we're live.
It's 6:06 right now. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on the Civic Media Network. You're listening to Civic Media Mornings. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Good morning to everybody listening along the network. Another busy day here on Civic Media Mornings, and going to be a busy week in Wisconsin. We'll get to all of the things that are happening in the legislature. We're going to cover an update on Savannah Guthrie's mom, and we're going to talk a little baseball in the second hour. Yes, spring is coming. Brewers pitchers and catchers report today. Does that mean that warm weather and sunshine are far off? No. Once you start talking baseball, you feel good. But first, let's get to this. There's been a lot of talk from the Department of Defense about filing indictments against the legislators, the senators, Mark Kelly and others who were in the video, reminding service members that they don't have to follow illegal orders. They did not tell them not to do anything. They did not name check anybody. Well, big news coming out of the grand jury yesterday, Jamie. They have declined to indict the Democratic lawmakers who urged service members to, like I said, ignore illegal orders.
Yeah, you got to think this is a little bit of a blow to Pete Hegseth, because he has really been hammering this. He's been basically dragging Mark Kelly through the mud with
that
this
was a
particular-
mistake. There was a mistake from the beginning.
It was, and the Justice Department had been investigating that 90-second clip. It came out in November, if you're trying to figure out what we're referencing here this morning. And, of course, the president had a lot of criticism for those 6 Democratic lawmakers, and he accused them of sedition. Now, the grand jury's
punishable by death, as far as I know.
It was not sedition in any way, shape, or form. The grand jury's decision is a setback for the administration's efforts to pursue any sort of charges. Prosecutors could try again. And by the way, the representative from the Trump administration on this particular case was Jeanine Pirro. She was the attorney assigned to this particular case. The lawmakers say their comments were protected free speech, and they called the investigation of abuse of power. We reported last week that several of the lawmakers had been approached by the Department of Justice and to speak to them, to have conversations, and they had declined.
Yes.
Well, you had to, they have attorneys. Those attorneys know what's happening, and they might have more skills than Jeanine Pirro at this
I was
point,
going to say, it sounds like Mark Kelly's attorney and all the other lawmakers' attorneys are much more qualified. Because let's be honest, somebody has to graduate last from their law school class. I don't know if that was Jeanine Pirro. I'm not casting aspersions on her. She seems like someone who, in my opinion, may not have put studies first. Now, I could be wrong, but
you never know. Maybe she was more studious at one point in time.
Perhaps.
She
And
could have
then-
been. But then it went solidly wrong somewhere.
Something went wrong, yes. But anyway, they're not going to be indicted for quoting something that is clearly written in the military code of conduct.
Which is good news if you're a Constitution buff. Like, it still holds up in some cases, and judges and measured human beings hearing all of the evidence and knowing what those laws and those rules are can still make decisions based on actual law and Constitution. Crazy how that works.
Yes, and despite some people's best effort, the Constitution held in this case. Let's hope it keeps keeps holding because man, it's getting stretched to the fine
We
threads.
need it to keep holding. Yes,
We do.
absolutely.
The other big news coming out yesterday is that Democratic governors are threatening a boycott. There is a governor's dinner at the White House every year. Normally, it's a bipartisan thing. No matter who's in office, all the governors come. I'm sure every year there's some disgruntled governors who have to come, but as you can imagine, this president is. I'm going to start. Parker, can we get a bell? And anytime we say unprecedented times, we have to ring this bell. And I think the show will be 90% bell.
I was just going to say, we'll never get another word in.
5% Jamie's facts, 3% me having mental breakdowns, and then 2% fun and frivolity. Perhaps gibberish and
glibness all at the same time.
Glibness and gibberish. Yes. Anyway, there was a report the other day that the president had excluded a couple of governors, Democratic governors, including Maryland's Governor Wes Moore and Colorado Governor Jared Polis, were not invited. The only African-American lieutenant governor was not invited. So now Democratic governors as a whole are saying, we're not putting up with this. J.D. Pritzker posted on his social media yesterday, I would never have dinner with that man. So, once again, the president making a ham-handed play to try to rub the noses of Democratic governors into whatever it is he thinks he's going to rub them in, and they're saying, okay, we can eat anywhere. We don't need to eat with you in your gilded dining room.
What I think is interesting is the National Governors Association. As you mentioned, they're scheduled to meet later this month. It's like next week, February 19th through the 21st. Sure. They basically had to put out a statement. And mind you, the Oklahoma governor, Kevin Stitt, is a Republican, and he's the current chair of the NGA. He announced the association would cancel the White House meeting rather than allow the situation to divide the governors, saying that leaders should stay focused on serving the people they represent. Now, as you can imagine, Carolyn Levitt had some words about this when asked yesterday at the podium. This was her during the daily press briefing. Cut one, please. Cut two, please. Carolyn Levitt. There we go. One. Thank you.
Look, I just spoke with the president about this. It is a dinner at the White House. It's the people's house. It's also the president's home, and so he can invite whomever he wants to dinners and events here at the White House. I believe Governor Moore was invited last year, and he did not show up to the dinner last year. Nobody reported on it. But again, the president has the discretion to invite whomever he wants to the White House, and he welcomes all those who received an invitation to come. And if they don't want to, that's their loss.
I don't think it is their loss. I don't think they're
tore up.
And can I ask if it is the people's house, which it's supposed to be, how come you tore half of it down and now don't have the money to rebuild it, so it's just demolished? Well, but that's another story. That's another thing.
But you're going to build a racetrack and you're going to build an arch.
But what about the ballroom? So you tore down a big chunk of the White House to not do anything with it.
Let's be realistic. Was that just to get rid of the Rose Garden named after the Kennedys? I mean, we already did that.
I beg your pardon? I never promised anybody a Rose Garden.
I'm just saying, he obviously has an infatuation with the Kennedy family. He didn't want any part of the Rose Garden. He needed his name on the Performing Arts Center before the Kennedys. It might have just been a ploy to rid the world of the Kennedys, except we still have RFK.
He's making the White House into the representation of the country where it's all just destroyed and rubble. That's what he's hoping for everything.
Yes.
But back to the governors and Carolyn Levitt. Oh, my gosh. God bless her, as they like to say down south when they're really trying to tell somebody to pound sand.
That's what I like to say.
She is precious, that Caroline Levitt. She is, boy, it's the people's house, but only some people can come here.
Well, yes, only some are invited. Now, of course, Wes Moore is saying that the decision is petty, also saying that it undermines any sort of bipartisan cooperation between the states as well as the federal government. And I think this one's a little hard to ignore for me, right? Because Governor Wes Moore is currently the only black governor in the country. he's the only black governor. And I think in this moment that matters, especially for an administration that just spent the weekend defending a Truth Social post that was widely criticized for being racist towards the Obamas. At some point, I think we have to stop pretending that this administration is flirting with some sort of line. That said, I'm not going to paint this broad brush, and I know that people who voted for this president don't necessarily have this maybe the same mindset. But I find it really hard to believe that Republican voters are comfortable with posts like what he put on Truth Social last week, and with outwardly saying no to the only black governor in the country.
Yeah, the people of Maryland elected Wes Moore. He is one of the
Very
governor.
popular.
If you want, and they also have to. Is it state? Do we want state rights? Do we want the government to control everything? And if the states are agents of the government, as the president said the other day, which they are not, we know that. But shouldn't you want all your agents in one room? You can't get inside. See, here's the problem, Jamie, and this is not just you and I. This is a lot of people. And I'm going to solve another issue right now.
Okay,
Like I solved
okay.
the budget in 30 seconds the other day.
Of course.
We have to stop trying to think in terms of Donald Trump as a rational human being.
Yes.
We have to stop using what we see as common sense or facts or decorum or anything that has come before when we're dealing with Donald Trump. There is no reason why. The reason is he wants to. He's an impulsive little baby who makes these decisions and has enough people around him that will back those decisions no matter how bad they are.
Right.
And so that's just how it is. We have to stop trying to find that
Rationalize
handle
it.
of but
Yeah.
there is no, we're not rationalizing his decisions, but we're trying to find out the backbone of this decision. Where is it coming from? And there is nowhere it's coming from other than his mind.
I'm sure that in his mind, Wes Moore declining the invitation last year. If he won't come, he didn't want to come last year. Why should I invite him this year?
Because he's the governor.
That might be part of it. Again, I don't know if it seems really petty, right? Like it's this very petty issue. It's a dinner invitation. If the governors, for some reason, do not want to be there, but at the same time, you don't just exclude them because they maybe disagree with you, or because they're a Democrat, or their state didn't vote for you, or whatever it might be. They don't get to just be excluded because they still are part of the union. And as you alluded to, they also run the states that you happen to also run as the president of the United States.
You're supposed to be the president for all people. But again,
Yes.
we're in unprecedented times.
We are.
We
are.
Nope, he wasn't ready. Darn. Nope, too late. Don't hit it now. No.
Got me
Nope.
Gotta be
slacking.
paying
That's
attention
all right.
here, partner.
Yeah,
Gotta
we
be ready.
Next
we need some
next
on the
Okay.
ball in the boy
I'm ready.
aquarium. No, it's too late now. I'm never saying it again until the next time we talk about Trump.
I have a serious question, and I know we're running out of time in this particular segment, but are we just over the pettiness of this administration? Because I'm over it, right? Some of the pettiness that we see from this administration and how they operate is what we did when we were in grade school, or most people did when they were in
Right.
grade school. It's that type of behavior. But this is the choice that they keep making, and it creates the same kind of controversies over and over. So when do we say, please, enough with the pettiness? At least try, whatever
Again,
that looks like.
you're making that same mistake, Jamie. You're trying. I was done with pettiness when I was 16. I can't deal with it. I was done with pettiness when Molly was a teenage girl in high school. I was over it. But again, we can't. Yes, you and I are over pettiness. A lot of people are over pettiness. He's not. And nobody will stop him. So he is allowed. We can't judge him based on normal standards or normal thought processes. And we waste all this time trying to figure out what's going to be next or why he's doing what he's doing, when we should just put that aside and focus on the damage that his infantile decisions are causing, and how do we fix those, and how do we get Congress to man up and woman up and stand up?
I guess we have to vote. So it's a good thing there's a midterm because I don't see this Congress standing up too much. It is 6:19 right now. You are listening to Civic Media Mornings. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. We'll have an update on Savannah Guthrie's mom's case on the Civic Media Network.
TVs, 92.7 WMDX.
Choosing a florist for Valentine's Day? For the best and freshest flowers in Waterloo, Lake Mills, Marshall, Deerfield, and surrounding areas, Waterloo Blooms has exactly what you're looking for. Call 920-478-8600 or stop by today.
Every hero needs a place to gather. Guild Pack Games in Stoughton is built by players for players. Warhammer, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, One Piece, Dungeons & Dragons. Build friendships, build your deck, build your legend. Guild Pack Games, made by gamers for gamers.
Join me, Tom Hartman, each and every weekday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the Tom Hartman program right here on Civic Media. I talk about the issues that all Wisconsinites can get behind, from unrigging our economy so it works for all of us, not just the billionaire class, to improving our representative government, to delivering on the promise of we the people. Tune in middays right here on your local Civic Media station from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the Tom Hartman program. Tag, you're it.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
This is Robert Pilot, host of Native Roots Radio. On our show, we talk about Native issues like treaties, protecting Mother Earth, and holding our elected officials accountable. You'll also hear from Turtle Island voices like Arvina Martin, State Representative Heather Keeler, Ruth Anna Buffalo, Dr. Anthony Stately, State Senator Mary Kunish, Robert Lilligren, and Bob Blake. Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Native Roots Radio, weeknights at 8 on your local Civic Media radio station.
We've all felt left out. And for people who move to this country, that feeling lasts more than a moment.
15 seconds till we're back.
It's 6:22 right now. We hope that you are having a great morning. You're listening to the Civic Media Network. This is Civic Media Mornings. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Good morning. Welcome. Glad you're here. If you want to get involved in the show at all during the morning, if something pops into your mind and you need to share it, 855-75-CIVIC. That's 855-752-4842. Coming up in the next hour, spring is here because we are going to be talking to Brewers President of Business Operations, Rick Schlesinger. We're going to talk about, pitchers and catchers report today.
Tickets
New things
go on
coming
sale tomorrow.
Tickets go on sale tomorrow. Where you can watch the Brewers this year. There's a lot to talk about because it's time for baseball. But yesterday was a big day when it came. We thought it was going to be a huge day when it came to the Savannah Guthrie case and Nancy Guthrie, her mom's abduction. We're now into the 11th day of this, and so you saw this. There were pictures released from the porch video that were very strange. And then last night there was news, they've taken somebody into custody. This could be the turning point. We don't know. Pima County Sheriff's Department was searching home and doing this. And then overnight, Jamie, something changed.
Yeah, we're in the 11th day of this, by the way, trying to find and figure out what happened to Nancy Guthrie. But a man was actually detained during a traffic stop by investigators last night, and then he was released after questioning. The Pima County, Arizona Sheriff's Department is entering that 11th day, trying to determine at this point who may have abducted the 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie and where she might even be right now. Now, this man who was released is a 36-year-old. His name is Carlos. He said he'd been in his car on Tuesday evening in Rio Rico, Arizona, which is about an hour south of Tucson, when police officers asked him his name and then they detained him. He was held for several hours before eventually being released. His wrists were swollen from the handcuffs. What I think is interesting about this is if you saw the images from that surveillance footage,
it's creepy.
How would you? It is very creepy, and how would you know that anybody fits that description based on the fact that this person had a full ski mask down past like their neck?
Yeah, the only thing you could kind of tell is it appeared there was a mustache involved.
Yeah, and that
the
was
guy
it.
had a mustache. And then listening to some of the network, FBI consultants and things, they were breaking it down, and they were saying that there are some things that investigators might be able to pick out of there, like the fact that he didn't really seem to know firearms because he had a tiny gun in a big holster. Different his walk, his posture, all of that. But yeah, how do you even know? And the video of this Carlos looked a lot smaller than the image of the guy in the
looked like a bigger guy.
Video. Yeah.
He did look like a bigger guy. And FBI Director Kash Patel said that the investigators recovered that video from data after working for more than a week to retrieve footage that had been lost or damaged, including recording devices that were removed. So the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department say these images were previously inaccessible, which is why it's taken so long for the public to see these. And shortly after they were released, Savannah Guthrie shared them on social media. She had messages from the family saying that they believe Nancy Guthrie is still alive, asking for help bringing her home. The family says they do not recognize the person seen in the video, which, again, I don't know how you can tell.
Unless you have a relative who's always there in a ski mask. Oh,
right.
Bob, come on. What's with the ski
gloves,
mask again?
with leather gloves,
with gloves and a holster in his waistband and just wandering around hunched over, trying to rub weeds in front of the camera. It was like there was no plan. It didn't seem very well thought out.
It feels a little haphazard. And what I also think is interesting is I don't know what the ties to Savannah Guthrie's sister Ann are to this case, but investigators seem particularly concerned with her home. And there have been ongoing searches over these past 11 days. They carry things out and then everybody leaves. And then the next day investigators come back. And this has been going on throughout the past 11 days.
And it appeared, and again, this is just us playing at-home detective.
Of course.
We don't know.
Nobody
but everybody
knows.
Here's the thing, everybody has an idea. Everybody has a theory. And after watching that surveillance video and the fact that it didn't seem planned out, it makes me think that maybe that was staged as a cover-up for something else.
Sure.
That's just me. That something unfortunate and horrible happened to Nancy Guthrie. Somebody panicked and then thought, well, let's create a kidnapping scenario. And again, that's just me. I don't know. There are two people who know. Somebody, Nancy Guthrie, and somebody who perhaps took her.
Yeah, and right now authorities in Pima County are asking the public for tips, especially from anyone who may recognize someone who looks like the masked individual. I mean, again, that's going to be really hard if you've seen these images and maybe has noticed changes in someone's behavior, maybe
That's
in the
the interesting part, that they said, listen, it's not that you'll know what the person looks like.
Right.
But if you have a neighbor and your neighbor does the same thing all the time, you've lived next door to George for 20 years, he's always done the exact same thing. Now suddenly George's acting a little hinky. We don't know. What's up with George?
Yeah.
He's not going out. There's all the blinds are closed at his house.
That might be a sign to at least call your local authorities. Experts say these public
I'm calling him on Parker. I don't know where he was.
Get the bell. As soon as you don't get the bell, you get in trouble.
Well, listen. Sorry, man. It's the breaks of the game. Don't cross me, Parker.
Experts are saying the public tips have played a key role in solving kidnapping cases in the past, and even smaller details, especially right now, with really no tips, no leads, could really help the investigators to figure out what happened to Nancy Guthrie. And I think that's key for anytime you get into these cases anywhere in the country. If there's absolutely no tips, no leads, just having that awareness around you is always key. But hopefully, man, this just keeps getting weirder and weirder and stretching out. So hoping for the best for the Guthrie family. It is 6:29 right now. You are listening to Civic Media Mornings. Thank you so much. My name is Jamie Martinson.
I'm Brian Noonan, and when we come back, Wisconsin lawmakers are going to be busy the next few days. We'll tell you why, and so much more. It's Civic Media Network.
Your car presets warned you about.
This report brought to you by Downtrins Distilling, making fun flavored spirits with local produce. Attend a tasting. Book today at downtrins.com.
See a market opportunity, have a market mechanism in place to take advantage of it. I'm PM Yankee, starting you off before the opening bell on a Wednesday morning. Quick look at what's happening in agribusiness news. That's the advice of John Heinberg, market advisor with Total Farm Marketing out of West Bend. He says they've seen some very big moves in the marketplace in just a day. And he said, unfortunately, people are not as fast as computers.
At least now, in terms of the supply side of the market on the grains there, we got a lot of supply out there. It's going to keep prices limited. But when you get those pops in the marketplace like that because of a headline or something along those lines, you got to find a way to quickly reward it. You can't move as fast as the market can in terms of the computer trading, getting things done, or quickly making a phone call to get a sale in. So set some targets, and when they hit, you take them, because that was a place you wanted to sell some grain anyway.
John Heinberg, market advisor with Total Farm Marketing out of West Bend. He says that's advice not only for row crop farmers, but for any farmer, no matter what you're producing. He said with algorithms at play in the marketplace, making sure you're using technology to get the bids you want, absolutely critical. Markets are next.
Did you know you can leverage crop insurance to benefit your bottom line? Ag Country Farm Credit Services can help. Choosing the right coverage for your goals can help maximize margins, strengthen your marketing strategy, and build a more resilient operation overall. As you plan for the season ahead, focus on more than just managing risk. Call 800-450-9858 to speak with one of our dedicated crop insurance officers. This institution is an equal opportunity provider and employer.
Supreme International is bringing its legendary know-how to an all-new standard lineup of TMR mixers, except there's nothing standard about it. With the Precision Ag Series, every model is purpose-built for how you feed. From once-a-day mixing to commercial operations and everything in between, there's a Precision Series TMR mixer to fit. Maximize your uptime, consistency, and efficiency with the reliable performance Supreme is known for. Talk to your local Supreme dealer today.
The barrel cheese stood still yesterday in Chicago. 40-pound block cheese dropped a quarter to $1.44 1/4. Double A butter gained a penny to $1.63 1/2 per pound. The March Class 3 milk that goes into cheese is up 3 right now, $16.39. April up 6 at $16.70 a hundredweight. In overnight electronic trade, March corn's unchanged at $4.28. December new crop unchanged, $4.58. March soybeans are down 2 at $11.20. November new crop down a penny at $11.05. March wheat's currently 3 cents higher at $5.31. July's up a penny at $4.94 a bushel. Hey, don't miss a thing. Sign up for our daily e-newsletter and we'll deliver all of Wisconsin's agriculture news to you. Go to Midwest Farm Report to do that. For the Midwest Farm Report, I'm Pam Yankee.
This report brought to you by Sugar River Pizza. Skip cooking. Get the hot, handcrafted pizza consistently rated Best of Madison, delivered straight to your door. SugarRiverPizza.com.
Sunny and a little warmer today. We'll get to 37 for a high this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy. We'll drop to 20 for an overnight low. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy and a little warmer with a high right around 41. We're going to keep temps going up into the weekend. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Temperature now 24.
Hey there, Wisconsin. Tom Hartman here. Democracy is not a spectator sport, so join me each and every weekday right here on Civic Media for the Tom Hartman program from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Covering the news of the day and sharing ways for you to get off the sidelines and get active in your community. because change starts with you. Get involved and tune in to the Thom Hartmann program Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on your local Civic Media radio station.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
15 seconds until we're back.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on the Civic Media Network. You are listening to Civic Media Mornings. If you're in Wausau, listening on WXCO, in Madison on WMDX, or in Oshkosh and Appleton on WISS, thank you so much. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Good morning. Wisconsin lawmakers going to be in town for, that's unusual, but they're going to be working very, very quickly over the next few days. Why? Well, Republicans are planning to wrap up work on February 19th, and then they're going to go on a 9-month break. Nice work if you could get it. Jamie, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do 1 week of shows. I'm going to do them really well. I'll see you in 9 months. Then I'll be back.
That's pretty much what's happening here.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's happening.
So you might think, well, is that really why they're rushing? Yes. That's really why.
Yes.
So they can go home.
Yes. I mean, not a bad gig. Governor Evers is going to give his State of the State next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And then Speaker Voss is basically like, peace out. We're not doing any of that, Wisconsin. We're going to be sipping a pina colada somewhere.
Later,
that's essentially what's
duck.
happening. Oh, my goodness. But, because Republicans control both chambers in this particular state, right? A 54-45 majority in the Assembly, and then in the Senate, it's an 18-15 split. Speaker Voss and Majority Leader LeMahieu are just like, no, we're gonna go campaign because it's important that we go out there and campaign. You know what? Tom Tiffany is the front runner. He doesn't serve in your particular part of the government. He's in Washington, and I don't understand what's happening. But
we allow this. We allow as voters. We allow it to happen.
We do.
Nobody's screaming. There's a weird mentality that I think a lot of people have, where it's like, well, they're in power. We have to kind of respect them. It's the same way people don't question their doctors or
you don't get a 9-month vacation.
No. 9-month vacation.
Nobody gets a 9-month vacation. Now, under GOP leadership, 132 legislatures would take this 9-month break from the regular floor sessions. And we all know, based on the track history of Speaker Voss, that if there is any reason for them to come back, he does that weird thing where he assembles everybody long enough to say he assembled them. He gavels in, he gavels out, and no real business happens. This is something that he has done repeatedly during Tony Evers' tenure as governor of this state.
Right,
now,
but they have reservations for dinner, Jamie. You can't expect them. They got to get to the old-fashioned and everywhere else around the Capitol. They don't have time.
There's so much to do, and baseball season's coming. The weather's going to get nicer. I get it.
Got to go scope the co-eds.
That's right. So the state law requires the legislature to meet annually, including at least one meeting in January. Leadership sets the rest of the schedule, though, and that's all according to the Legislative Reference Bureau, which is why they can get by with this, because they have technically met their one time, and they are doing business for the year and are adhering to the laws. But now there's a flurry of activity.
I was going to say, what happened yesterday? There was tribal news. There was all kinds of stuff going on yesterday.
There was. So one of the biggest things that happened yesterday was Red Cliff Band Chairwoman Nicole Boyd was at the Capitol, and she warned the government. She warned that the federal government is testing the fundamentals of a healthy democracy during her State of the Tribes address. She highlighted issues including healthcare, access, gun safety, environmental protection, cannabis legalization, and the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women. She described 2025 as the year of Doge, ICE, DEI, and RIF without ever directly naming the president. This is what she had to say. Cut 2, please.
2025 can be described in acronyms as the year of Doge, ICE, DEI, and RIF. While the new federal government implemented their agenda, testing the fundamentals of a healthy democracy, we stayed focused on our people. We have been resiliently working to ensure the health and well-being of our constituents, shielding them from attacks on human decency and the disruption of everything they know is normal. Not everyone in this room may agree that we are in very unprecedented times, but Indigenous people, sadly, we know these tactics all too well. Consequently, we are the most resilient humans you will ever encounter because we have had to be.
Now, I will say that I watched this, not surprising, because I wanted to see what she had to say. I got to watch it on Wisconsin Eye, by the way, because it's back, and we'll talk about that in just a moment.
Oh, thank goodness.
That loud, sustained applause came from the Democrats showing support for the Wisconsin tribes. Republicans mostly sat there and gave a smattering of applause. Robin Voss actually looked like he wanted to be anywhere else but in that room at that moment in time. It was not a great look if you were watching this, watching it or the live version or the recorded version.
Well, nobody likes to be called out for crimes against and inhumanities against people.
And if you have the opportunity to watch this, Boyd raised concerns about threats to tribal sovereignty, funding for Indian health services, and Head Start programs. She praised tribal leaders. She also praised Attorney General Josh Kaul for pushing back. And she urged lawmakers to designate manumin, or wild rice, as the state grain, and criticized the Enbridge Line 5 oil pipeline in northern Wisconsin. If you haven't been following that, the company seeking to reroute a pipeline through the Bad River Band Reservation after a federal judge ruled it illegally trespassed on tribal land. So she covered a lot in this particular speech.
Yeah, she was really rolling. And it was important to hear, and that's, we've talked about Wisconsin Eye. That's a good reason to have it, so you can see, oh boy, certain people are not supportive of this at all. And the good news is you're going to be able to watch Wisconsin Eye for a while because the Assembly has approved their trust fund.
Yes.
Wisconsin Eye is now a trust fund, baby.
It is. It is. And it's a $10 million trust fund, baby. And that was after a recent funding-related blackout. This was also one of the flurry of moves that the Wisconsin legislature made yesterday. Because, time is ticking. Reservations have been made. They got to be out the door on the 19th of this month. So this measure, and you're going to, if you did not think that the Wisconsin legislature would ever agree on anything. Hallelujah, angels, choirs, because they agreed. The measure passed 96-0. It was right. I know. And now this is going to head to the Senate. Now, the trust would generate interest to fund operations. It doesn't include any upfront funding, though, for Wisconsin Eye. Lawmakers also added transparency requirements, including live-streamed board meetings and also free public access to digital archives. Now, Wisconsin Eye is officially back up and running. It's how you can see Nicole Boyd give her speech yesterday or watch any of the Supreme Court hearings that are going to be taking place this week or see all the action on the floor because, again, very, very busy. They received $50,000 in state funding to make that happen. Now, donors have pledged additional support if the bill actually becomes a law. So we shall see. I mean, if it passed that unanimously in the House.
Yeah, it should be fine.
I can't imagine the Senate's like, nope, we have a problem with this. I can't imagine that's going to actually happen.
Well, Jamie, listen, you'd never know. I would tend to agree with you when there's that kind of overwhelming support.
Right.
But maybe it's a ruse.
It could
Like,
be. It
aha.
could be a ruse. But I mean, Wisconsin, essentially, and we've talked about it on this program. This essentially comes back to government transparency because it gives anyone a chance anywhere to see our government in action. Well, up until the 19th, and then things are going to get very quiet. But it's the floor sessions, it's the committee meetings, it's the budget debates, it's all of that. It's unfiltered, it's in real time, and if there's something that is of particular interest to you, you can go back and watch those archives so that you are able to actually see or hear something that might pertain to you. So,
And like you said, that's all you're going to be able to watch for 9 months because you'll turn on that camera and it'll just be, sorry, folks, nothing to see here. Badger out front should have told you we're closed.
I think
That's
it's
it.
I think it's interesting that it's an okay thing for a state government and state officials. And let me remind you that the Democrats want to stay working. They want to continue to be in session. They want to continue bringing bills and passing things and making laws that better all of Wisconsin, for life for all of Wisconsin. The Republicans are using a lame excuse that it's a campaign year and we need to go do that. And we need to be on the trail because we have people running. No, you don't. No, it's Tom Tiffany. He doesn't serve with you.
Well, and here's the thing. We can stop that. We could change it. All we have to do is vote. If the Democrats want to do all this work and you're thinking, well, I don't really like all my legislators being off for 2/3 of the year, then vote in different people. That's it.
Yeah.
Mark was on the text line, and you can be too, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. And he asked about, did you hear that the Republicans in Congress are now investigating Bad Bunny? I did hear this. It's Nipplegate too, but this is more of a crotchgate, twerkgate that is happening.
And gyrated.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Andy Ogles. Ogles from Tennessee. He's a Republican. He sent a letter to fellow Republican Representative Brett Guthrie of Kentucky. So Kentucky and Tennessee, not very happy. And they want to investigate Bad Bunny's halftime performance, claiming that the content was inappropriate. He said the 13-minute show was, quote, pure smut featuring explicit displays of gay sexual acts. Boy, you had to really be looking to see those two guys gyrating by the truck. That was
You were looking at something completely different than I was through the whole show.
I think you're really searching that out, Andy. But there was a brief shot of two guys by the open pickup truck door. But it was on screen for like 2 seconds. Again, if you weren't looking for it, not that I was looking for it, but I was looking for it. But that was there. And he says that pure smut, gay sexual acts, women gyrating provocatively. Yeah, welcome to dancing since the 60s. What are you talking about? And Bad Bunny shamelessly grabbing his... I did notice that Bad Bunny liked his carrot.
It is his thing. He does it on stage all the time. It wasn't
Did we
new.
not see the 50 years of hip hop halftime show a couple years ago?
I mean,
if you cannot be a musical artist, a male musical artist, and some females without making a grab for your junk.
Right.
That's just how it
Andy
works.
Ogles is still upset about Elvis Presley, if this is what he's upset about.
Yes. Because the Elvis turned all the girls crazy.
That's right.
And he said these Spanish lyrics openly glorified sodomy and countless other unspeakable depravities. I didn't understand it, but that's what somebody told me. They told me it was depraved, and people were going to get their vapors, and they would, they felt a vapor coming on after they sang about that smutty stuff. Do you speak Spanish, sir? I do not. I would never. That's the devil's tongue.
Would you rather have your government shut down or put up with stuff like this?
Shut it all down. You know what? Maybe they need a 9-month vacation.
Maybe.
Just to go and sort through some things in a dark room with soft music and candles. And,
well, they've got some things to sort through. Apparently, it won't be with Bad Bunny in a dark room, though, because that's just too much. That's a bridge too far.
My sympathies to the people of Kentucky and Tennessee. Wow, that's... other than bourbon, I don't know what's coming out of there.
Horse racing, that's about it.
Horse racing and a hot brown.
That's
which, again, that's a sandwich, Parker. Relax, look it up. That is not an act that was in the Bad Bunny halftime show. That is a sandwich.
All right. So, by the way, Wisconsin has a GoFundMe if you want to check it out. It's 6:48 right now. Civic Media Mornings on the Civic Media Network.
WMDX, Madison's home for Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, Monday to Friday, 6 to 8 p.m.
Tax season is here. Ramos Tax and Services has been saving you money for over 25 years. Locally owned, open year-round. Get $20 off business and $10 off personal returns. 608-442-8170 or visit 658 South Gammon Road.
There's a small Wisconsin town where the population grows to 10 times its size every February.
Normally, we're about 2,600 people. During Berkey Week, that gets up to 30,000.
That's Blair Flickinger with the Foundation for the American Birkebeiner. The skiing marathon started with a couple of people carving a trail between Hayward and Cable 50 years ago. It's also a tribute to the ski culture of another country already hosting its own Birkebeiner. Is it Turkey, Norway, or Germany? The answer coming up.
There's a camaraderie that comes along with this event that is unparalleled.
A camaraderie between people who come to Hayward from around the world.
Make everyone feel like Hayward is their spot for the week.
So did you guess the Berkey was created as a tribute to Norway's 100-year-old race? And while our Berkey is a well-known winter event, it's still growing by adding other races all throughout the year. There's a slice of Wisconsin. I'm Terry Barr for the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm Rick Smith, host of The Rick Smith Show. If you're looking for honest talk, real stories, and straight-up news that matters to you, tune in to The Rick Smith Show. We're digging into the issues that affect your job, your family, your future. Join me weeknights at 9 on the Civic Media Radio Network, because your voice deserves to be heard. That's The Rick Smith Show, heard weeknights at 9 right here on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Pete Schwaba.
Dumb and Dumber. You and some of the listeners.
I was going to go back to that, actually.
Recommended that I watch last night.
Yeah.
I finally did.
The first time I saw it, it was very jaded. 5 years later, I'm like, why wasn't I laughed at it, but it was on the list of one of my favorite comedies ever, you know?
It's stupid, and that's okay.
Stupid, but to write stupid properly, you have to be clever. You can't,
True.
Stupid can't write stupid. It takes a clever person to write something stupid.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 5 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American
15 seconds till we're back.
It's 6:52 right now. You're listening to Civic Media Mornings on the Civic Media Network. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you're having a great Wednesday. We've made it halfway through a week already.
Thank goodness.
It's flying by, something like that.
Sure.
No pun intended for our next segment. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Yes. Have you ever seen a UFO? And if so, where? 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. The reason I'm asking is they seem to be very prevalent here in Wisconsin. Reports of UFOs are up 48% in 2025. 74 reports were collected in Wisconsin by the National UFO Reporting Center. I have never seen a UFO. I don't necessarily believe in UFOs, despite being torn by the fact that it would be arrogant to think we are the only beings in the universe. I don't Listen, the way this place is going, would you come here for a vacation? And I'm talking Earth, not just Wisconsin or the United States. Anywhere, I wouldn't come here. 4 of the UFO sightings that were reported were in Manitowoc County.
That's interesting.
It is. I don't know why, though. I don't know what makes Manitowoc County the place.
Well, it is lovely. It is lovely.
Sure,
so
it's
maybe,
lovely.
Maybe even the aliens understand this. Maybe they understand how lovely the area is, and they want to experience all that it has to offer.
That could be. Yeah.
We live in strange times. I'm trying to make sense of anything I can right now. So the sightings, though, in Manitowoc County ranged from a triangle of lights described as being as large as a city block to a fast-moving light that vanished suddenly and was flagged as a possible satellite. I also love that we actually have a operation in this country called the National UFO Reporting Center. I never in a bazillion years thought that was something that we would talk about, but here we are.
Well, remember there were congressional hearings about UFOs last year. It
Packers former quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He loves a good UFO story.
Sure, but he also sees Slender Man and all that. Yeah,
he sees a lot of things.
He sees a lot of stuff.
He does. I never really paid much attention to UFOs and aliens, though, until he was the quarterback and talked so highly of it so often as the quarterback of the team. Just saying.
Okay,
throw that
sense.
out there.
Well, the most recent one was in Manitowoc. That was in December, and it was a Tier 3 report. I'm not a scientist. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
It's other reports. It's a report that cannot be easily verified. Somebody said they were driving on Highway 42, 6 miles south of U.S. Highway 51, which we know is a hotbed for alien activity, through the windshield. Yes, Leonard Nimoy, bring it. They noticed a large, bright white light to their left. The light was moving west to east on a flat horizontal path at noticeable speed. Yeah, anything that's moving is a noticeable speed. A turtle is moving at a noticeable speed. But why do I dicker? Why do I pick the nits? The light was moving fast. Other smaller lights were trailing the large light. The smaller lights would flicker and then go out. Yes?
Can I ask a question?
I hope you
would.
Was
it actually a UFO or was it the Starlink satellites? Because since those have launched and made their way around the country, there's a lot of people who get really upset and freak out just a little bit. And it actually happens to be the Starlink satellites just going overhead because they also move at a notable speed, I should say. And they trail one another as they move across the sky at night.
Well, Jamie, sure, that could be, but this is not as easily explained. Again, I'm telling you, this is a Tier 3 classification. It cannot be easily explained, and your explanation was too easy.
Well, we solved the budget in 30 seconds.
Well, right. And remember last year when New Jersey was seeing all that? There were, every day in the news, New Jersey was being overtaken by aliens. There were UFOs everywhere in New Jersey. And I don't remember what they ever, all of a sudden they were gone.
Did they ever determine what those were?
I thought they were like drones or something.
Yeah,
they thought they were drones.
They were drones, but they couldn't figure out why there would have been drones because they were flying in airspace that wasn't actually available for drone flying. So there was
just
there was
like
a whole
Venezuelan drug boats, they disappeared. We don't know what happened.
It's fine. You will be happy to know that Wisconsin has played a role in all of this investigation at the federal level because our own Congressman Glenn Grothman is leading the U.S. House hearing and did in 2023, focusing on pilot reports of unidentified objects in the air. So it's good that he's spending his time doing the real work of the people.
You grew up in South Dakota. You were in a lot of open spaces.
I was.
It gets dark there. I've been out in nature at night where there's nothing else. I have never seen anything zip across the sky. The only time I give these reports any sort of credence is when I hear like an Air Force pilot and their crew going, yeah, we were up there and we didn't see anything, or a commercial pilot, somebody who's up there who has vast knowledge of aerodynamics and aircraft, and they go, this wasn't moving like any aircraft we've ever seen. So it can only be aliens or Russians. Those are the only two.
Those are the only two
or
options.
A weather balloon, a Chinese weather balloon. Could be that.
It could be that as well. I mean, there's several mysteries that it could be. But again, if you've ever seen a UFO or, you think that you've seen one, let us know. 1-855-752-4842, 1-855-757.
May I posit one more theory, Jamie?
Sure.
We know Wisconsin is always at the top of every poll for the drunkest states.
That's where my mind went.
Is there any sort of correlation, do you
Yes.
think, between the increase of UFO sightings and the copious amounts of alcohol consumed by Wisconsin residents? All right.
I believe that is that's the first thing that came to my mind as well. We love to drink our alcohol and have a good time here, so there's probably a few things that don't really add up in Wisconsin.
I swear it was a saucer. I saw it. Moved at noticeable speeds. I saw it.
Hey, if nothing else, maybe we know where the Republicans are going to go when they check out on the 19th. Maybe they're going to go investigate this, or maybe they're just going to get sucked up by the aliens. Who knows?
Well, the truth is out there, Jamie. That's all I have to tell you.
Absolutely. We'll get to the root of it, or not, because we've got to move on. It's 6:59 right now. You're listening to Civic Media Mornings. My name is Jamie Martinson.
Sorry, I'm Brian Noonan. On the other side, Brewers President of Business Operations, Rick Schlesinger, joins us. It's baseball on the Civic Media Network.
All right, folks. We have got Rick on the phone line here.
Hello, Rick. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Good morning, Rick. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
We will go here. We've got about 6 minutes before we come out of this break.
Okay.
So we will just hang out and we'll talk a little training camp and maybe some of the off-season moves so far. Of course, tickets go on sale tomorrow, the regular season tickets, so we can hit that. And then, of course, we want to talk about the new MLB TV deal versus FanDuel and all that how that helps out for the organization. So
the usual stuff you've answered a million times.
Oh, it's always good to talk Brewers. So any questions you want, fire away.
Excellent.
Awesome. We love that. Well, I know we're busy getting our 6 affiliates ready to go. So we've been already having those conversations because we'll carry the spring training games and things too. So
yep, perfect.
Department of Health Services is reminding residents to look out for changes in their SNAP or food share benefits over the coming weeks. Under changes made in the One Big Beautiful Bill signed by President Donald Trump in July, SNAP recipients are required to work, volunteer, or engage in job training for at least 80 hours per month in order to receive their food assistance benefits. DHS officials say the new requirements will be implemented on a rolling basis. Parts of Wisconsin are being left hung out to dry by the Trump administration. Stuart J. Waddles has that story.
Governor Tony Evers is criticizing the Trump administration for again denying federal disaster aid for 6 Wisconsin counties hit hard by storms and flooding last August. The request covered Milwaukee, Waukesha, Door, Grant, Ozaukee, and Washington counties. According to the governor, FEMA gave no reason for turning down the state. Evers says those communities are facing more than $26 million in infrastructure damage and need help rebuilding. I'm Stuart J. Waddles.
This week is Take a Friend Snowmobiling Week across Wisconsin. Civic Media's Maddie Schaefer has that story.
The DNR is encouraging riders to invite someone new out on the trails to introduce more people to the sport. Officials say riding with a friend isn't just more fun, it's also safer. They're reminding snowmobilers to ride sober, stay on marked trails, slow down, and always check trail conditions before heading out. Anyone born on or after January 1st, 1985 must have a snowmobile safety certificate to legally operate a sled in Wisconsin. The DNR also stresses that ice is never completely safe and recommends wearing proper gear, including a life jacket or float coat when riding over frozen water. For Civic Media News, I'm Maddie Schaefer.
More information on safety classes and trail updates can be found on the DNR Snowmobiling webpage. For Civic Media News, I'm Lisa Hale.
The Badgers with the upset. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Men's college basketball. The Wisconsin Badgers went into number 8th ranked Illinois as 10-point underdogs. They battled through overtime and won 92-90 over the Fighting Illini. Head coach Greg Gard.
You guys all saw this. I mean, one heck of a college basketball game between two really, really good teams. You know, Illinois got so many weapons and so many good players and do such a great job of putting you in precarious positions defensively. We executed as well as, you know, we wanted to be able to get 14 offensive rebounds ourselves and hold them to 8.
NBA, the Bucks face the Magic again tonight at the Kia Center in Orlando. Baseball, Brewers fans asking, why would Matt Arnold give up third baseman Caleb Durbin and utility player Andrew Monasterio for two left-handed pitchers?
It's no longer just the 5-man rotation and, you know, every guy's going to give you 200 innings anymore. It's a combination of your entire staff.
As Brewers general manager Matt Arnold. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
This report brought to you by Serenity Pet Spa, providing a sanctuary for dogs to be bathed, groomed, and pampered while enjoying free play with other dogs. SerenityPetSpaMadison.com.
Sunny and a little warmer today. We'll get to 37 for a high this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy. We'll drop to 20 for an overnight low. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy and a little warmer with a high right around 41. We're going to keep temps going up into the weekend. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Temperature now 24.
Aho, this is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio. On our show, we share stories from Turtle Island highlighting the people and issues shaping our communities. From protecting water to treaty rights and preserving languages and traditions, we cover it all. Hear voices like Arena Martin of Emerge, Wisconsin, Dr. Stately, Robert Lilligren, and more. Because Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Native Roots Radio, weeknights at 8 on your local Civic Media radio station.
Would you like to contact Congress and let them know your views about issues that are important to you? Leave a message for your U.S. representative or your senator by calling the Capitol Switchboard at 202-224.
All right, we'll be back in about 30 seconds. Rick, just so you know, if you start to hear music, it's a 14-minute segment. When you start to hear music at the end of it, that means we got like 30 seconds left, so we got to wrap it up, just so you know.
Okay.
15 seconds.
So much for joining us this morning. This is Civic Media Mornings. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan, and one of the best sentences of the winter, Pitchers and Catchers Report. The Brewers Pitchers and Catchers Report today in Phoenix. Oh, my goodness, we couldn't be happier about that.
Close.
That means, yes, baseball is coming. Warm weather is hopefully following. But if you're in AmFam Field, it doesn't matter what the weather outside is, because inside it's always lovely. Let's talk a little baseball, because things are cooking. Brewers President of Business Operations, Rick Schlesinger, joins us. He's entering his 23rd season with the Brewers. He is 7th in this position. He oversees all the business operations that the Brewers have. He oversees the field in Phoenix, everything. And he's here with us now. Rick, thanks for being here. We appreciate it, and we are so excited that pitchers and catchers are reporting today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's always fun when we go through a really cold winter to start thinking baseball and spring training, and the season will start before you know it on March 26th.
Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say, against the Sox, that'll be a nice opening weekend. Let's start here, Rick, because there was a big announcement recently that Brewers games this year are going to be broadcast on MLB instead of FanDuel Wisconsin. What went into that deal, and how is that going to change the fan experience for viewing the Brewer games?
Sure. We just had some uncertainties about FanDuel and their situation going into the 2026 season. And, we couldn't wait any longer to see if their situation would be resolved. So we made the decision on January 31 to switch to MLB Media, joining 15 other clubs. And for the average fan, they won't notice any difference. They'll still be available to watch all the live Brewers games on cable, on satellite, and a streaming service, just a different package. Instead of going to FanDuel for your streaming, you'll go to MLB and Brewers.com, and they will provide you with all the details on how to buy the streaming subscription. And again, if you watched on cable last year or watched on satellite, you'll watch it the same, maybe a different channel. But, we're going to have about 145 games, and, so the average fan won't notice any difference. I think the production quality will be better. We're excited to partner with baseball. And, again, we wanted certainty for the fans and no interruption in the games, and that's why we made the switch when we did.
Since the Brewers are a small market team, Rick, how important are these types of changes to expand the team's reach nationally?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously every dollar is precious, and we look to, generate revenue where we can, and television revenues are important. And it's sort of an interesting and somewhat of a challenging ecosystem for media these days, as everybody knows who's in the business. But for our purposes, the most important goal was to make sure that our fans had wide access to our live games. And because of our relationship with MLB, this is possible. I think the future of television will be very different. I think there'll be more national packages, so you'll see more games on national packages. But ultimately, you're going to be able to get every game that the Brewers play on some kind of device and some kind of service. Cable and satellite aren't dead. They're slowly eroding, but they're not dead. They're still a real big source of eyeballs for us. But streaming obviously is the future, and we want to make sure our games are accessible and affordable packages for everybody.
And the streaming thing, what was it, $99 for the season to stream anywhere, which makes it wonderful for a fan who may not be in front of the TV or is traveling or wherever they want to go to be able to catch the Brewers.
Yeah, if you're in Wisconsin, it's very easy. Even if you're outside the state, if you're a Brewers fan who lives in Utah or Colorado, you are able to go to ESPN Unlimited and MLB.TV and access all the Brewers games. So regardless of where you are as a Brewers fan, you're going to be able to get those games live on your device.
All right, let's talk a little baseball here because Rick Schlesinger, Brewers president of business operations, joining us, entering his 23rd season. We mentioned that pitchers and catchers report today. You guys have been super busy already in this offseason. The trade of Caleb Durbin and Andrew Montesterio, we just learned about that. I'm sure there's going to be some other roster moves down the road, but how are some of these moves going to shape the overall team and the depth this season and what you guys are feeling going into training camp?
Yeah, I think, you look at what Matt Arnold and his baseball operations staff have done over the last several years, and you really got to admire what they've done. There have been moves that some people have scratched their heads about or have not really understood, and they've worked out quite well. It doesn't mean you're going to, bat 1,000 every one of your trades or acquisitions. But, the one thing we know about this game is pitchers are key. And the more pitching depth you have, the better you're able to sustain injuries and just poor performances. And the reality is, we're building a rotation with some great live arms, both, Woodruff and Mizorowski, Priester, Chad Patrick, as well as some guys in the minors who are really ready to step up and join the rotation. But I'm really confident what Matt's doing. And again, we're the three-time defending NL Central champs, won the most games in baseball last year, but he has some unfinished business. The season ended abruptly against the Dodgers. We want to progress, get to the World Series, win the World Series. So I'm pretty confident in Matt's ability, and there's certainly other transactions between now and opening day.
Well, Rick, you mentioned the Brewers have won 3 consecutive NL Central Division titles. That is, they're going for history this year to try to win the 4th. No, teams just don't do that. That's great. But the question that if I don't ask this, and I know this really is a Matt Arnold question, but if I don't ask it, people will be hammering me all day. Who's going to play third base?
Well, we did acquire a guy, Hamilton, who from the Red Sox, who certainly can play there. We've got some interesting opportunities for guys who have experience at third base. And again, remember, between now and opening day, there's still a lot of time to make deals. So I feel pretty confident that we'll have a third baseman.
All right, well, that's good.
It's good.
And it may be a couple of guys, but Yeah, I never count Matt Arnold and his team out when they make these deals because they're always playing chess, and they're thinking 4 moves ahead. So
Sure.
I am very confident that when we start on March 26th against the White Sox at home, that it's going to be a heck of a lineup.
Now, you guys had a really young team last year. Are there, and you mentioned some of the players from the minors. You mentioned the Miz, who became a fan favorite last year. Everybody was so excited about him. Are there any young players or prospects that we should be keeping an eye on that you guys are really excited about right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the names that people talk about are Jesus Vade, who's a phenomenal player, Cooper Pratt, who's an extremely great defensive player already in the minors, whose bat will come around, and then a whole slew of young pitchers that we acquired in the last couple of trades. Jesus Vade is sort of a phenom. He's really young. I don't expect him to be in the majors this year, but he's still a teenager. Can't legally drink and won't be able to legally drink for a while. But I think this is a guy who's going to have potential superstar written all over him. And I definitely expect him in Milwaukee very, very soon. Again, maybe in 27 or 28. But the farm system was just ranked number 1 by almost every publication in baseball. And it's a testament, to all the hard work that our baseball operations staff does, both domestically and internationally, in signing guys from all over the world.
Rick Schlesinger is our guest. He is, of course, the Brewers president of business operations. We talked about how people can watch the Brewers games on their devices, on their TVs, but we really want people in the seats. Tomorrow's a big day, Rick. Single game tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10. People just go to MLB.com/Brewers, right, to buy their tickets, or Brewers.com?
Yeah, Brewers.com is the easiest place to go. It's a couple of clicks, and starting tomorrow at 10 a.m., single game tickets will go on sale. We've obviously been selling season ticket packages and theme night packages already. But this is sort of a big milestone when the individual games go on sale, because it's, fans like to pick and choose which games they play, teams they want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And the schedule is a really good one for us this year in terms of good opponents, a lot of American League opponents, and a good mix. So, we expect a lot of sales tomorrow starting at 10 a.m.
As we're looking at that 2026 schedule, we mentioned that the home opener is against the Chicago White Sox on Thursday, March 26th. What are some of the other key matchups that you have highlighted on your calendar personally that you're most excited about for this team?
Yeah, well, I always, I'm at every game, so, it becomes sort of every game's highlighted. But obviously the Cubs series, when we play them, we have 2 series against them. And Yankees come into town, and like I said, a good slew of interleague games. But our division has gotten very interesting. The Pirates, have been really stacking up. They've been spending money and bringing some really good players. The Reds are always a wild card. They can be really good or struggle. Cardinals probably would tell you they're sort of rebuilding, but again, it's going to be a wide open division. Cubs are a key element here. As we all know, it's the rivalry. That's a bitter rivalry, and magnified by our epic 5-game series in the playoffs last year. So for me, I'm at every game. I would love to see everybody come to every game, but I realize people have lives and jobs, and it's not always they're not getting paid to watch baseball games like I am. But it's going to be a great schedule because we have more interleague games every other year. Every American League team comes and plays Milwaukee, which is great, so we can see some stars from the other leagues. So good slew of American League opponents this year.
Rick, let's talk about the fan experience. Any big changes coming to AmFam Field for the fans? And also, I am a sucker for the giveaways and the theme nights. What are we looking at for those this year?
Yeah, so we've got a number of projects coming online. We have redone the kids' play area on the field level. It's called the Glove Playground by Aurora Healthcare. Some brand new features for kids. A complete new experience, new Bernie slide, a sausage race opportunity game. So that's always fun. And then in the summer, we're going to open up the UW Credit Union Plaza behind center field outside, which is going to feature a beer garden, a stage for live music, mini golf, a play area. And that's just phase 1. Phase 2 will be more integrated food areas. We're upgrading our food selections at the Alley Food Truck and 3rd Street Market Hall. And a lot of bobbleheads, giveaways, theme nights. We probably have 30 dates that are either a heritage night, a theme night, or a giveaway. So there's a lot of reasons to come to the ballpark besides watching the Brewers.
Oh, it's always a good time when
Yeah.
you can when you end up at AM Fam. No, obviously you mentioned you're at every game. You watch games in a little different perspective than the fans, Rick. But do you have a favorite game day event or something that you really look forward to when you're there watching a game? Something that you just enjoy every single time and you never get tired of?
Yeah, usually when we win, that's a good game day event that I feel happy about and go
Of
home,
course.
drive home happy. But I'm not that superstitious, but I generally don't sit when I'm watching the games. I'm doing a lot of pacing or walking around. We obviously have, guests that we want to say hello to and sponsors and things like that. So I'm usually kind of a little antsy and a little bit anxious just because, I'm a passionate Brewers fan. You have
Sure.
to be to work in this game. I try to be social to people, but I'm watching the games.
Don't talk to me right
If
now.
there's a good play, I'm happy. Yeah, don't talk to me. We can talk after the game, before the game, but during the game, I'm not always the most pleasant person. But it's just because I'm passionate.
All right.
Makes
Now,
sense.
people listening to you, Rick, and Rick Schlesinger's our guest. He's the president of business operation for the Brewers. There's people who are like, that is the dream job, work around baseball all the time. And it sounds like it is. But there has to be, other than the fact that it's a long schedule, there has to be some little downfall. We got about 10 seconds. What's the one downside that people wouldn't believe?
I would say, the hours you have to commit. You're going to be working during the season, get in the office at 9 a.m. and not leaving till 11 p.m. and you have 10 game homestands. It's a lot of time.
It is. Well, thank you for being here, Rick. Again, single game tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. Go to brewers.com, get your tickets. Rick Schlesinger, our guest, the president of business operations for the Brewers. Rick, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon, and good luck.
You're listening to Civic Media Network. This is Civic Media Mornings.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Rick, so much.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
I don't know why it does that. Okay. I think he's gone.
Rick had places to be.
He's a
He's
busy
a busy guy.
He gave us
Yeah.
plenty of time, yeah.
Pitchers and catchers reporting today.
Oh, my God. That is exciting.
It is exciting. It's going to be like 40 degrees. Pitchers and catchers report.
How are we set up as far as tickets?
So
Oh, yeah. Who's the contact for that
Chris
now?
Morrow has been in the past. I believe he probably will be again because he was the one who always has been. But it's literally, they will announce, Chris will tell us when he has all of the tickets. And then as shows, we can get tickets and give them away. We also do ticket giveaways as a company, but we can also get tickets, and it all has to be through the app.
I meant for us.
We say that we'd like to go, and then if those tickets are not asked, or like if we have those tickets available, it's a first come, first serve.
That's cool. Did now I know the Brewers sometimes do a partner thing where you can buy tickets for certain games. Do they do that? Do we get the link for that too?
Sales handles all of that.
All right.
And then they tell us
Yeah.
what's happening.
Cool.
That's why you have a good sales team, right?
I told you I tossed all my Brewer stuff. No, I kept my hat.
You kept your hat.
And I still have my Franklin bobbleheads from, we went to the Peanuts night because Debbie's a huge Peanuts fan.
Yeah.
So this year it's Lucy. So I'm sure we'll have to go to the Peanuts theme night.
Brewers games are always a good time.
It's
Like
fun.
they really, it's always fun. And we have Civic because we have 6 affiliates. So anybody listening online, you can right now to us. We have 6 affiliates, so you can always catch a Brewers game anywhere.
Yes.
But we always have the box. We get like the
club level
We have the
ones.
club
Yeah.
level.
Really?
Yeah, that's what we get.
Cushy seats.
Where they you have the backs and they bring food to your chair when you order
10
through the app.
seconds.
It's good stuff.
That Miller Lite section is good too.
It is good.
They throw stuff in. But a club level, fancy, very bougie.
It's 7:22 right now. You're listening to Civic Media Mornings, and if you're in Eau Claire, listening on the tap on 93.5, or maybe in La Crosse on WLCX, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jamie Martinson,
and I'm Brian Noonan, and I'm in a better mood now because we talked a little baseball with Rick Schlesinger. That is excellent. And a reminder: you can listen to Brewers games all along the network as the season begins. But listen, Jamie, this is our senior producer Frank's least favorite segment of the program. That's why I want to milk it for as long as I can. The Olympics are happening, and I'm invested. And here's the thing, and you can answer this at 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Frank made a point yesterday. He said, do you watch any of these sports outside of the Olympics? And no, I don't. But does that matter because it's the Olympics? And I say it's no. What say you? Give us a holler and tell us if you're watching the Olympics, what you're watching for. Because yesterday, man, disappointment, yet still excitement. A lot of great stuff happening. I've been taken by the Coreys, the partners from Duluth in curling, who were playing against Sweden for the gold medal yesterday. And just like their play-in game to get to the gold medal game, it came down to the last slide of the stone. Unfortunately, Sweden this time had the last slide, and they beat them. But it doesn't matter. Corey Thiessen is the first woman to ever earn an Olympic medal in curling. So congratulations to the Coreys for their silver and the Duluth Curling Club for supporting. That was very exciting. Stop it. Frank, I watched USA versus Canada ladies hockey yesterday. Let me tell you something about those women. They are hitting. They're not playing. This is not powder puff hockey.
No.
These women are taking people to the boards. It was unbelievable. And the USA comes out on top over their heated rivals, Canada, with 3 Badger players scoring in the game.
Yes.
The Badgers make up a nice chunk of this Team USA for ladies hockey.
I just want to jump in here.
There's no counterpoint to my points.
No, there is a point here.
Is it that the game
I
didn't
watch
matter?
hockey, therefore I will watch the women's hockey team.
Did you watch yesterday?
I did not. I forgot.
Oh,
but that's not the point, Brian. Now our listeners think I don't watch hockey. And
No,
I
you
do.
watch hockey,
I do.
but you don't watch you don't watch the rest of the Olympics because you don't watch it. Is it a point of pride that you just say, if I don't watch these sports all the time, I'm not going to watch them
No,
ever?
I think it's genuinely like my interest level.
Sure.
Like my wife was sitting on the couch and I heard audio and I was like, "What are you watching?" She goes, "Ice dancing." I said, "Ice dancing?" When do you care about ice dancing?
For 50 weeks and 3 years, I don't care about ice dancing.
No, I don't care at all.
But for 2 weeks, I'll go, look at those people. That's amazing. It is. It's amazing.
Don't you think it's a camaraderie that you feel and a pride that you feel watching your country and all of these athletes put it all on the line, and people get excited about that because we all have that competitive streak in us a little bit, even if we don't want to admit it.
Yes,
and we
but
should all have
Frank
a
is
little
rooting
pride.
for Belarus. He doesn't care about the USA.
Belarus. Whoa.
You heard it.
Our
I don't
listeners
take it
probably
back.
think I'm a commie now.
That a hot take this morning? My goodness. The one sport that last night we were watching the Olympics for a few minutes. I took a little bit of a break and I was in the living room and I sat down and we were watching speed skating, and it was a relay speed skating event.
Yes.
And,
I was watching that.
And my husband goes, "What is happening right now?" He's like, "There's 3 lanes of people going in a circle." I said, "It's a relay, so watch." I said, "They're going to push off," and he goes, They butt push? He's like, "What is happening?" He goes, "I don't understand any of what's happening." So I get it.
Exactly.
How do you not
But he
understand?
was
You got to skate
engrossed.
really fast in a circle. It's very rudimentary.
But
You
he
got
was
giant
engrossed.
blades, and then you push the next person. It's not. I You know how long I watched speed skating? As long as that race took. You know how long it took me to catch on? That was it. It was like,
Maybe he's just
now I
slow.
understand.
He might be just
I'm
slow.
not casting any aspersions. I'm
Chris-
just saying it's
Chris
not
over
hard.
at our text line listening on MDX. Frank, he's got some words for you. He said, Frank, forgetting about yesterday's hockey games means he's just a casual fan.
Ooh, them's fighting words. We're going to set up a board out front of the station, Chris, and you can come down and Frank will check you into it. We're going to... Wow.
Whatever, Chris. Chris, I'll be waiting for
Waterloo.
my text update from every game, and I better get one.
That's right, Chris. Frank doesn't play. This I liked. There's a Ukrainian skeleton racer. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name because it would be disrespectful to an entire country. But on his helmet, he has pictures of athletes that were killed during the war in Ukraine. And originally the IOC said, you can't wear that. And he said, well, IOC, you can go, I'm wearing it. And he has worn it, and it is very moving.
Yeah.
And listen, if you're a skeleton racer, they should be worried just about the fact that your body could explode on impact.
Right.
Who cares what's on your helmet? It could just be the middle finger, and I wouldn't care because somebody's going 100 miles an hour on ice head first. I'm in 100%.
Does some of this do we get so engrossed in the Olympics, not because of the sport of it, but because some of this does seem death-defying? Like, an average
100%.
person is not going to do these things. You are not going to do a 450-foot in the sky ski jump with turns and things, and in the middle of the night. Nobody's doing that except for these people who are way athletic than I will ever be in my entire
I told
life.
you that's why I like the Winter Olympics more than the Summer Olympics. There's an element of danger. The Quad God. You didn't watch the Quad God last night, Frank?
I did not.
Oh, come
I don't
on.
even know who that is.
Ilya Malinin. He's the figure skater.
Sure.
He's the guy with the backflips and the quad
backflips.
jumps.
You know.
He's
awesome.
I always watch figure skating.
He's dumb. I never watched
Ask
figure
your
skating.
wife. Ask your wife. She'll know. She'll know
know.
exactly who he
But
is.
it looks like he's a human drill bit, boring down to the center of the
Good
earth.
for him.
It's
He's
great.
insanely good. He's insanely good.
Michaela Schifrin did not win, despite
No.
the announcers telling us nonstop she's the best skier in the world.
No. More action tonight. Watch the Olympics. Not you, Frank, because we know you ban it. You're listening to Civic Media, the Civic Media Network.
Can't believe you don't like the Olympics, Frank.
I feel like that.
It's not even I don't like. I just don't watch. Like, I don't like some people. Like, my parents follow the schedule religiously, and I'm like, I just don't.
No,
I'm really
if we sit
busy.
down and I turn on the TV, if we sit down to dinner or something, and with Hulu it shows what's live, and I'm like, oh, I said to Debbie, you want to watch short track speed skating? She's like, yes. So we watched some short track speed skating after we watched the Corys get beat.
It's cool.
It is cool.
It's
and
Parker, it's cool.
It's cool.
It's cool.
Listen, it's something you don't see every day. Once every 4 years, I can look at these people and go. Plus, man, these lady figure skaters and stuff, their bottom halves are just nothing but muscle. And the ladies who push the bobsleds and stuff, oh my gosh.
Did you see the video of the bobsled team that completely missed the bobsled?
Is that
Yeah,
AI
that was
or is that
from-
real? It was
That
from
was a
something
couple of
else.
weeks. It was real. It was a couple of
It was
weeks
a
ago.
trial, right?
Yeah. I think it was in trials.
There's this. I don't know why this woman has popped up on my algorithm. This the Australian pusher for the bobsled team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God! Now I can't stop seeing it. Not terrifying. Her body is a
If
wonderland.
she was mad at you, it would be terrifying.
Yes, she could crush our skulls with her legs. But
see, I guess my big question regarding the Olympics is where does one like get involved with something like this? Like curling, yeah, you go down to like your local ice house and go to the curling club, right? Yeah. Where do at what age do you have to be like, you know what? I think I want to do ski jump.
I think a lot
and
of
I'm
the
going to
time
start
it's-
doing that.
I think it's like repurposed athletes. I think that they had been athletes from different sports, and then they want to keep doing something, but they weren't good enough for what they were doing.
Not for skiing and stuff. It depends.
No
like
way.
if you were from an alpine sort of nation, you grew up skiing. My wife grew up in
yeah.
Michigan. She skied her whole life, and it's like the athletes who played high school grade school football, then high school football, then they played in college. You just keep getting better and better and better until you turn professional. And if you start out snowboarding, which is just a hobby, a million people snowboard, but then you have that drive and you just keep going. And I guess once you get to a certain level, you can find the coaches in the organizations, or they find you.
It's just such a specific
thing.
Like football, basketball, all the big four, they're very accessible, is what I'm saying.
Well, I wonder if a lot of that is just where you're from.
Right. Well, we grew up next to the mountain, so
yeah.
Well,
I'm a skier.
Wilmot Mountain doesn't count.
No.
Yeah,
I think
you
every
just
person
ski.
every person in middle school and high school from where I grew up was like, "Yeah, we're going to Wilmot." And I think I was the only one that was like, "You guys have fun with that."
Yeah.
And they bought all the gear, went snowboarding maybe twice, and then quit.
The guy who won the silver in the men's cross country yesterday comes from a town in Vermont with 200 people, and this was the first time in 50 years an American man has medaled in cross country. His town, 3 miles away from the last guy who won a medal in cross country.
So what I mean, it's like, all right, we're gonna move to this place and have a kid, and they're gonna grow up to do winter sports.
Yeah. Well, and some of them, their parents were like some of the skaters and stuff. Their parents had been skating, and but the guy from Norway who won the gold, they're going up this really the steepest part of the track, and all of a sudden, it's like they set him on fire. He just took off. He went so fast, and everybody's behind him. Where like the guy from Vermont, he had to be 150 yards behind this guy, and they were neck and neck until they got to the bottom of this hill. And then the guy from Norway was like, "Fuck off!"
Let's start out with this text from Brian in Wausau talking about the Olympics, then we'll talk about Robin Bloss.
Got 20 seconds till we're back.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. This is Civic Media Mornings on the Civic Media Network. If you want to get in on the conversation today, 1-855-752-4842, 1-855-75-CIVIC. I am Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. We were talking about the Olympics in the last segment, and Brian in Wausau texted in, as Jamie said, you can too. This is not to admonish Frank on his hockey fandom. Brian says, I'm a hockey fan, only Olympic sport I watch outside of the Olympics. I don't watch men's hockey in the Olympics because I still feel pros shouldn't play, and I thought backflips weren't allowed in amateur figure skating. When did that change? I think somebody had done one. A woman had done one a while ago, years ago, and now the quad god can do what he wants, Brian.
Yeah.
He is, in fact, the quad god. He flips. I don't think they get points for the backflips.
No, I don't
I
think
think
it
it's
adds
just
anything.
part of the performance that adds a little, spectacle to the whole thing.
Yeah. What was the skater way back, Scott? What was Scott?
Hamilton?
Hamilton. Thank you. He did backflips. Brian Boitano did backflips as well. And then for a while, they weren't allowed to do them at all in competition.
Well, because you could break your neck. Let's be honest.
Yeah. What happens if your skate goes out from underneath? It's ice, after all. I mean, I don't care how much you're on there. We see professionals slip all the time because it's still ice.
I learned, last night, one of the guy from Japan who was following the quad god, he came out of a spin. And Jamie, when you got to land on the balls of your feet. And if the heel of your skate hits, that's when you lose the edge. Boy, I absorbed the most useless knowledge. I don't know why. Like that sticks in my brain, and now I sound like Brian must watch figure skating all the time. Nope, about 7 minutes every 4 years. But
It's all
But I
right.
sound like I know what I'm doing. Listen, I'll reference a sow cow. I'll go back to the swirling hamel camel. I'll do it all.
It's all about how you present it. You don't actually have to know what the words mean. If you just present it with conviction, nobody's going to question you at all. Brian also responds back saying, no Iron Lotus yet. See the movie Blades of Glory, Scott Madison.
The quad god looks just like the guy from Blades of Glory.
Yes, he does. Scott in Madison, listening on MDX, says Syria Benali used to do them in women's skating. I hope I pronounced that right. I probably butchered it. But thank you for the text this morning, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys. And we will continue updating the Olympics, much to Frank's chagrin, because I am giddy as a schoolgirl watching the Olympics. I just can't get enough.
We have so many things happening right now on the Civic Media Network that I have not gotten a chance to sit down and absorb them as much as I normally do. But in years past, it has been up until 2, 3 in the morning just watching the competition. Parker, you're nodding because I think that's why you got less sleep last night, because you were watching the Olympics, isn't it?
Partially.
Okay.
Partially,
all right. Well,
yes.
we don't want to know what the depravity that you were doing after the Olympics, so we won't ask about that. We'll just
move on. I can only imagine.
Well,
Here's the thing. It also is a distraction from all the really serious things that are going on, and it's a time where we can bond together as Americans, because even if we look right up the street at the Capitol, things are going on. Well, Robin Voss came out. We talked about yesterday them threatening to sue the government for trying to get relief after the floods. And now Robin Voss is hoping that the administration will reconsider its denial of federal disaster aid relief for the floods in August.
You know, Robin Voss, before he checks out for his 9-month vacation after this flurry of work until February 19th, is getting a smidge of his backbone back.
Hoping is not getting. Demanding is a backbone. Hoping is a little kid seeing a pony and saying, "I hope I get that."
Hey, it's all more than we normally get from Robin Voss against this administration. So I'll give him one of his little vertebrae, like half of one of his little vertebrae back. It's not much, but we're working on it.
Well, at least he realizes that the people of Wisconsin need that disaster relief aid.
And let me be real, I'm not holding out hope for much more than this. But he obviously says that the Trump administration needs to consider that denial of the relief from that August 1,000-year flood. FEMA has actually turned down the state's $26.5 million request for 6 different counties, even though the administration approved a separate $29.8 million grant for homeowners in some areas. We talked about this a little bit yesterday if you joined us on the program. Governor Evers appealed that denial. He warned that the rebuilding costs could actually fall on local taxpayers. Voss is now saying that the state might step in if needed. He stresses, though, that this is the primary responsibility of the federal government.
It is 100%.
It is, yes. And Evers says that they're going to keep pushing for federal aid while helping communities in the meantime. There is a bipartisan state disaster aid bill that has been proposed to help FEMA if FEMA denies these requests. It's not passed the full legislature, though, as of right now. The White House is saying that disaster requests are carefully reviewed and that the federal aid is meant to supplement, not replace, state and local efforts. Again, the federal government not really understanding what their actual role is in supporting the states, even though they like to scream at us about states' rights and how states should be more involved and be able to do have their own functioning governments. But when it comes down to what the federal government actually is responsible for, it seems like they missed that day in civics class of how this actually works.
Well, and unfortunately, there do have to be contingency plans in place, and Robert Voss saying that, the state would look into this. This is the kind of thing that we were talking about, the state surplus and the money that the state has. This is the kind of thing you can use it for. It's not an ongoing project that will deplete the entire surplus. You can set aside a chunk and say, this is for disaster relief. And, and then you just keep hammering that we have to dip into the state's money because the federal government is not helping us, which they are supposed to do. And now Robin Voss wouldn't do that, but that's where the Democrats would just hammer and say, we didn't get it. We had to use your money because the administration would not help us.
Right.
But we have the money. So we
do.
might as well help our citizens, because one day the states are on their own, one day they're the agents of the federal government, one day they have to follow
We
along.
have no idea.
We don't know. So
We have no idea.
take care of yourself.
And honestly, right now, with the state legislature aiming to wrap up next Thursday, I believe would be the February 19th. Looking at the calendar, would be next Thursday.
That's correct.
I don't know how much movement we're going to see on this. I want to be wrong, because there is a lot of infrastructure to rebuild from that flooding. There were a lot of homeowners, businesses that were affected by that. So I'm hoping I'm wrong. I don't see a lot of movement, but I feel like this is something that's absolutely crucial for those 6 counties and the residents, business owners. And so we'll see where this ends up, but it doesn't give this legislature a lot of time if they are planning on gaveling out on next Thursday. Now, you mentioned a little bit of a surplus, right? Robin Vos has also made a little bit of news yesterday. Yeah, it was a busy day for him. But of course, in this flurry of activity, you gotta keep churning things through, Brian.
They
Like, snap,
legislate like an Olympic speed skater, very fast for a very short time.
This is true. It is kind of like, the speed skating track. So he is saying now that he's willing to negotiate with Governor Evers on property taxes. He's making headlines for being a sitting legislature willing to compromise. Wild and wacky times that we live in. We've talked a little bit at length on this program about this partisan divide over property taxes and that 400-year veto that the governor used to basically get property taxes and that $325 per student credit and all of that, right? Well, now Robin Vos is stepping back from an earlier demand that any new property tax relief plan would include a repeal of Governor Evers' so-called 400-year veto. Vos is saying that a bipartisan deal to reduce property taxes could come as soon as this week. So hopefully those discussions are ongoing, because the veto repeal would have to wait until after the November midterm elections. He's emphasizing that providing relief to homeowners right now is the top priority. As it should be, right? Because property taxes in this state, school referendums, it's all getting to be too much for several cities. Now, Governor Evers, his office is saying that any property tax relief plan has to still make sure that schools are going to get the funding they've been promised in the state budget. Republicans' decision to leave the revenue increases in place really contrasts with GOP gubernatorial candidate Tom Tiffany, though, who has made repealing the veto a central part of his campaign. So now we have the state legislative GOP at odds with their frontrunner for the governor. And at some point, they're going to snap into line, because that's what the GOP always does, right? Is there any question that that's going to happen? No, not at all, right?
Yeah, it's all right. Well, listen, there's a lot going on. This is a little insane. But as we said, the 400-year veto is a little suspect. I know it's legal.
It is.
No question about that. It's legal. It's just, I don't know.
And
a little too much power.
Let's be realistic for a second. Robin Vos is not a stupid man, right? He's been the Speaker of the House for 13 years, I believe. 13 is where we're at, somewhere in there. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But at the same time, he also knows that this partial veto power is very important for a GOP governor as well as a Democratic governor.
Of course.
So he's going to hedge his bets, I feel like, here. The Democrats have 7 candidates currently vying for the top spot to become the front runner. And I feel like maybe this is Robin Vos a little bit. This is just my take. Maybe hedging his bets just a little bit, that maybe the Republicans right now in the gubernatorial race would have a titch of an edge, and he isn't going to rock the boat, and he's not going to take the partial veto away from his own party if that were something to come to fruition in election season, right? I mean, he's a calculating individual.
One thing we can say about politicians, they are calculating. They are always scheming. They always are looking down the road, and it's all basically to protect their power and their party's power. So that would not surprise me if you're absolutely right on that.
And is this really a negotiation? I don't know if it is, because the state legislature, as we've been discussing this morning, is really in this last hour trying to end their session by next Thursday, which means they'd have that 9-month break. So are they really trying to move on property tax relief, or are they just kind of kicking the can down the road to see what happens in an election cycle? That's what I feel like.
Yes, it's senioritis again. They've got one foot out the door, and they are waiting to see, because November is going to be very, very telling, not only for the U.S. House and Senate, but for the state House and Senate too. So.
Now, there were some emails from a February 5th meeting as well that showed Evers offering a compromise: $200 million for special education, $450 million for general school aids in 2027, $550 million for property tax relief through the school levy tax credit, $97 million to exempt taxes on cash tips. And both parties right now are saying they would use part of that $2.5 billion surplus for some sort of fund relief. And Voss says Republicans have been negotiating with Evers for weeks to create some sort of bipartisan package that could potentially pass both chambers and be signed into law, which, if that's what happens and it's good for Wisconsin homeowners and the school system and education, and there's still funding, then I'm all for it. But I just, again, hedging bets. That's kind of what I feel like is happening.
I will not pass judgment now, which I usually do. I love to pass judgment, but I'll wait.
Cynical.
I'll wait and see. I am very cynical. That's what's kept me alive all these years, Jamie. A healthy cynicism.
Exactly.
That and making sure I have a good Valentine's gift for the bride, which is what we're going to talk about next when we come back. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson. You're listening to the Civic Media Network.
You'll hear it here. 92.7 WMDX. Real news and great conversation.
Tax season is here. Ramos Tax and Services has been saving you money for over 25 years. Locally owned, open year-round. Get $20 off business and $10 off personal returns. 608-442-8170 or visit 658 South Gammon Road.
It was another action-packed day at the Milan Cortina Olympic Games yesterday. Time for your morning update. I'm Jay Roberts. Starting on the slopes in alpine skiing, the women's team combined slalom less than 0.05 of a second separated first from second as the Austrians came out on top. Just ahead of Team Germany, Team USA came in third. The mixed doubles curling gold medal game pitted Team USA against Sweden, and in the end, the Swedish were victorious with a 6-5 win in the gold medal, while the Americans settled for silver. Ashley Farquharson raced her way to a third-place finish in the luge women's singles medal round, earning her bronze medal in her second Olympic Games. And in women's ice hockey, Team USA pulled out the shutout win against Canada, final score 5-0. Not a medal game, but more evidence that the Americans are the powerhouse team to beat in this Olympic Winter Games. We'll have our eyes on the rink later today as men's hockey takes to the ice. Also more downhill skiing, luge, and curling as well. I'm Jay Roberts for Civic Media.
This is Robert Pilot, host of Native Roots Radio. On our show, we talk about Native issues like treaties, protecting Mother Earth, and holding our elected officials accountable. You'll also hear from Turtle Island voices like Arvina Martin, State Representative Heather Keeler, Ruth Anna Buffalo, Dr. Anthony Stately, State Senator Mary Kunish, Robert Lilligren, and Bob Blake. Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Native Roots Radio, weeknights at 8 on your local Civic Media radio station. Pete Schwaba.
Dumb and Dumber. You and some of the listeners.
I was going to go back to that, actually.
Recommended that I watch last night. I finally did.
The first time I saw it, it was very jaded. 5 years later, I'm like, why wasn't I laughed at it, but it was on the list of one of my favorite comedies ever, you know?
It's stupid, and that's okay.
Stupid, but to write stupid properly, you have to be clever. You can't,
It's true.
Stupid can't write stupid. It takes a clever person to write something stupid.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 5 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Is there an issue that's important to you? Would you like the President of the United States to know how you feel? Why not call the White House comment line? The number is 202-456-1111. The White House comment line is open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Standard phone rates may apply. You may also send an e-message to the President at whitehouse.gov/contact. A public service message from the Civic Media Radio Network.
Being blind doesn't look how others may think.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down.
I know where to find
15 seconds to our back.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Civic Media Network. You're listening to Civic Media Mornings in La Crosse on WLCX and Wisconsin Rapids on WFHR. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. You can always join the show, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. And Jamie, that's what Tiffany did.
Mm-hmm.
She has a question that you wanted to answer.
Yeah, she is listening on WCFW this morning, 93.5 The Tap in Eau Claire, and she wanted to note that it's important to understand, or at least the way she understood it, this veto we talk about when it comes to this 400-year veto, does it require an increase of money every year? It actually allows the school districts to put it to local taxpayers to vote to implement the increase. And I went over to the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty because, yes, you would be shocked that I have a subscription over there. But Wisconsin school districts are not legally required to raise their property tax levy to the maximum allowed limit every single year. A lot of them have to, though, to cover operational costs because of the state-imposed revenue limits and the flat state rate. Now, the state allows for annual revenue increases like that $325 per pupil allowance that's extended through 24-25, the 400-year veto thing. Districts can choose whether to levy that amount, and that's when they have to go to voter approval via referendum for those for any increase above the cap. So that's I believe what Tiffany is referring to. If that's not Tiffany, text in. And I will have the answer for you tomorrow morning because, I love nothing more than a good challenge on these things. But that's how I'm understanding it. So, yes, if you're going to go above the 325 cap, you have to take it to a referendum. And the school district does not have to raise it every single year. So that is how I understand the law at this point.
Look at that, understanding the law from a non-attorney. This is
it's sometimes this is why I like places like the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty because they lay it out in like a lot of plain terms. So there is that option too. So
very nice.
Sometimes if you just read really closely, you can figure it out. And let's be realistic, some of these laws are made that it makes even attorneys scratch their head and go,
there's
how does
legalese
this actually work?
is not the law is not written for the common man.
Yeah.
The law is written for, nerds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and I just called every attorney a nerd.
I'm
sorry, attorneys. I'm glad you're here because you can read over all kinds of things that.
That's right.
And the problem with reading any legal document, even if you're an intelligent human being, and I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy in the room, but my reading comprehension is pretty good.
Right.
I can read over some legal documents and I get the gist, but I'm like, why are all these extra words here? Can we just boil it down?
It's kind of like reading Shakespeare.
It is like Shakespeare. When messages should just be clear. It's Valentine's Day. Get your partner something. This is the question for you. What was the most elaborate or cheesy gift you've ever given or received for Valentine's Day? 855-752-4842. Guys, if you forgot, Valentine's Day is Saturday.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Start
get
working
ready.
on it.
The reason I asked this is I read this story and I could not believe it to be true. But it is true. McDonald's is offering customers a special Valentine's meal this year. Oh, what is it? A red shake? Is it a special dipping sauce for McNuggets? No, Jamie. It is chicken McNuggets and caviar. Two great tastes that taste great together.
A pairing that is that's like peanut butter and jelly. Let me tell you, this sounds disgusting.
It sounds horrible, and it's one of those things where it's like let's make McDonald's, and I have no hate for McDonald's.
Sure,
McDonald's, that's
like
fine.
A good fry.
But I like the McNuggets. I'm not gonna tell you. And about once a year, I get an insane craving for a Big Mac. Like I have to have it that day, or there will be carnage. So that's fine. But there's a lot of fast food restaurants and things that try to up their game for Valentine's Day because those special things get people in the door, and people are buying less and less fast food because it's expensive.
Like when you can do reservations at a White Castle and White Castle
that's
restaurants across the
fantastic.
country.
Or
Yes.
heart-shaped pizzas
Of
from
course,
your favorite
of
pizza
course.
place.
Sure.
But yes, this is an upscale yet effortless celebration, according to McDonald's.
It is. And it's
you
a
get-
kit, right?
Yes, you get a tin of McNugget caviar. You get some creme fraiche and a mother of pearl caviar spoon, along with a $25 gift certificate. Are you laughing because you can't believe I said creme fraiche the correct way? Because I am continental?
Because I am laughing because the ingredients in McDonald's food is questionable always, right? And I agree. I love a good
100% pure
McDonald's.
beef.
But at the same time, what kind of caviar am I getting in a tin?
Yeah, I'm not trying McDonald's
I-
caviar. I've
you know
never
what?
had caviar. The
If
first
I-
time I have it's not going to be Mickey D's.
If I can get it, if I could get one, I would try it. Just because, how do you not?
Right?
It's high lowbrow. That's what they're calling it, high lowbrow, because it's
so
going to
bougie on a
McDonald's for
budget.
yes. I like that better. Bougie on a budget. That's
the name
yes.
of my life. Yes.
Trademark that, Jamie, and we'll do
Bougie on a budget.
next Valentine's Day. If Lord willing, we're still here, we'll do a bougie on a budget Valentine's Day promotion.
So I went to the website, McNuggetCaviar.com. And I
Yes.
got the edge function has crashed. So is the website just crashed, or let
Yes,
me try to
'cause-
spell it again? I'm
'cause
sure
everybody
it went like
wants to do it.
hotcakes.
I looked a second ago and they're sold out.
Are they
Oh,
sold
of
out?
course they're sold out.
Are they how much are these? How much were they? I should say. There we go. Okay, I must have typed something wrong. That was weird.
Well, if they're giving you the $25 gift card and a tin of McNugget caviar, which I'm guessing has got to be the top tier of caviar. I know Beluga is a popular caviar. McNugget, another one on the social scene.
So what they're showing in these photos is that you take your little nuggie and then you put the creme on top of it, and then you put the caviar with your mother of pearl spoon on top, and then you have like a nice little appetizer, and they're sharing it over a box of McDonald's fries in these photos with silver plates.
Oh
this
man,
is...
cue the Marvin Gaye, because that is leading to some sexual healing. That is, you feed me caviar on a nugget, and baby, we are
Wow.
good to go.
If it wasn't
Wake me up
caviar, I
when
might actually
September
try it.
ends. Yeah, I would try it. I would try it, but well, don't forget, fellas, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
But we gotta go. We
do.
talked too
They're
much
telling
today.
us we're done. They're telling us we're done. It's 7:59 Civic Media Mornings on the Civic Media Network.
Talk to you tomorrow.
All right, live stream. We will see you same time, same place tomorrow.